Halloween in Genoa City is rarely quiet, but this year, the night proved more haunting, passionate, and revealing than anyone could have imagined. Under flickering candles and moody autumn skies, love affairs ignited, secrets surfaced, and the ghosts, both literal and emotional, refused to stay buried. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Part 1. The Haunted Glow of Crimson Lights. Sharon Newman had always loved Halloween. It was the one night when everyone could wear a mask and pretend to be someone else. But this year, as she lit a single candle at Crimson Lights, she wasn't pretending anymore. She was haunted. The cafe was closed early for the evening. Skeleton lights twinkled faintly in the window, and bowls of candy sat untouched on the counter. But Sharon wasn't thinking about trick-or-treaters. Her mind was on the envelope that had appeared mysteriously on her doorstep that morning, with her name written in familiar, looping handwriting. "You thought I was gone, didn't you?" the note read. It was signed simply, Cameron. Her heart had nearly stopped. Cameron Kirsten, the man who had terrorized her decades ago, was dead. She knew he was dead. She had seen it. But the handwriting, the tone, it was him. Nick had tried to calm her down earlier in the day. He'd insisted someone was playing a sick joke. But now, as the wind howled outside and thunder cracked across the Genoa City sky, Sharon wasn't so sure. She poured herself a cup of coffee, hands trembling. A faint sound behind her made her freeze. She turned slowly. "Hello, Sharon." The cup slipped from her hand and shattered. It wasn't possible. But there he was, or at least, something that looked like him. Cameron stood at the edge of the room, his eyes dark and cold, his smirk curling with the same malice she remembered. She blinked hard, whispering, "You're dead." The figure smiled. "Am I?" The lights flickered. The storm outside grew louder. Sharon backed away, clutching her chest, unsure if she was losing her mind or if the past had finally returned to claim her. Part 2. Claire's Dangerous Game. Across town, at the Grand Phoenix Hotel, Claire Grace stared at her reflection in the mirror. She had told herself she wasn't going to the party. She had told herself she was done with drama. But here she was, wearing a sleek black dress and dark lipstick, her blonde hair spilling over her shoulders like golden silk. Holden, the mysterious newcomer who'd swept into town 2 weeks earlier, had invited her personally. "Come have a drink," he'd said. "It's just Halloween. Nothing scary." But Claire knew better. Holden wasn't just any man. There was something about him, something magnetic, dangerous, and utterly irresistible. He'd appeared at Newman Media claiming to be an investor, but Victoria had quietly warned her daughter to be careful. "He's charming," Victoria had said. "Too charming." But Claire was tired of being told what to do, tired of walking on eggshells around everyone since her release from the psychiatric facility. She wanted to live, to feel, to be seen as something other than damaged. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. When she arrived at Holden's penthouse, the lights were low, and soft jazz played in the background. The city glittered beyond the window, and Holden stood with a drink in his hand, wearing a dark suit that made him look both elegant and sinful. "You came," he said with a slow smile. "I did," she answered, trying to sound casual even as her heart raced. "I guess I was curious." "Curiosity can be dangerous," he said, stepping closer. "So can you." Their eyes locked. The tension between them was electric, the kind that crackled in the silence. Holden's hand brushed a strand of hair from her face, and the touch sent a shiver down her spine. "You're not like the others, Claire," he whispered. "You've got fire inside you. But you're afraid to let it out." She swallowed. "Maybe I just need the right reason." Holden smiled, slow, predatory, magnetic. "Then let me be a reason." Before she could think, before she could talk herself out of it, he kissed her. It wasn't soft or hesitant, it was hungry, consuming, like he was claiming every part of her that had been broken and forgotten. And for one night, one reckless, haunting night, Claire Grace stopped fighting herself. Part 3. Sharon's Descent into the Past. Back at Crimson Lights, Sharon's breath came fast and shallow. The figure of Cameron was still there, watching her with that knowing grin. "You can't be real," she whispered. "You're not here." But he only laughed. "You thought burying me would bury your guilt, didn't you?" You thought moving on with Nick would erase what you did. Sharon shook her head. You're not him. You're not real. She lunged for her phone, but it wasn't on the counter where she'd left it. The cafe door creaked open, and she screamed, only to see Mariah rushing in, alarmed. Mom, what's going on? I heard you yelling. Sharon turned back, but the figure was gone. Only shadows remained. I saw him, Sharon stammered. Cameron. He was right there. Mariah froze. Mom, Cameron's dead. I know that. But he was here. He said I couldn't bury what happened. Mariah grabbed her hands. It's just Halloween, Mom. Maybe it's the storm, or stress, or… No, Sharon's voice broke. This felt different. It wasn't just in my head. Mariah tried to calm her, but Sharon's eyes darted toward the back door, where faint muddy footprints led inside. Someone had been there. Part 4, the morning after. The next morning, Genoa City woke to quiet skies and cold air. But the aftermath of Halloween still lingered like a curse. Claire stirred awake in Holden's bed, sunlight spilling across tangled sheets. Her mind was hazy from the night before, from the passion, the whispers, the way he looked at her like she was the only woman alive. But now something felt off. Holden was gone. His side of the bed was cold, the space empty except for a small note left on the pillow. You wanted to feel alive. I hope you did. Her stomach sank. No number. No explanation. Just that. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. She got up, wrapped herself in a sheet, and looked out at the skyline. Her heart twisted. Was she just another one of his games? Then her phone buzzed, an anonymous text. Careful, Claire. Holden isn't who he says he is. Her blood ran cold. She didn't recognize the number, but the warning sent chills down her spine. Had she just slept with someone dangerous? Or was someone trying to manipulate her again? Part 5, Ghosts, Real and Otherwise. At the Newman Ranch, Victoria was sipping her coffee when she got a call from Victor. Have you seen Claire? He asked sharply. Not since last night. Why? I just got word from one of our contacts. That Holden guy she's been seeing, he's not an investor. He's been under investigation by the SEC for months. Victoria's stomach dropped. Oh my God. She hung up and immediately tried calling Claire, no answer. She called again and again, but her daughter's phone went straight to voicemail. Meanwhile, Sharon sat in her office at Crimson Lights, replaying the events of the night before. She had cleaned up the footprints, but couldn't shake the sense that someone had been inside. Nick came by with concern etched across his face. Mariah told me what happened. You okay? I don't know, Sharon said quietly. It felt so real. He knew things only Cameron would know. Nick sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. You've been through so much, Sharon. Maybe someone's trying to mess with you. Or maybe he never really left, she whispered. Nick frowned. You mean, what? That Cameron somehow survived. I don't know what I mean, she said. But I know one thing, he's not done with me. Part 6, The Return of the Past. As night fell again, a knock echoed at Sharon's door. Her pulse spiked. When she opened it, she nearly screamed. It wasn't Cameron, but it was someone connected to him. The woman who had tormented the Newmans and used Claire as a pawn stood there, wrapped in a dark coat, her expression unreadable. Hello, Sharon, Jordan said softly. Long time no see. Sharon's grip on the doorknob tightened. What are you doing here? I came to warn you, Jordan said. Cameron isn't dead. Sharon froze. That's impossible. Jordan smiled faintly. You really think someone like him dies so easily? He's alive, and he's coming for you. Part 7, Claire's Reckoning. Meanwhile, Claire was sitting on the edge of her bed, replaying every moment from the night before. Holden's voice echoed in her mind. Let me be your reason. Who is he really? The text messages, the sudden disappearance, it all pointed to something darker. She decided to dig. Pulling up his name on her laptop, she started searching. What she found made her blood run cold. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Holden wasn't Holden at all. His real name was Grant Wallace, and he had ties to Cameron Kirsten's old corporate network. She sat back, horrified. She'd just slept with a man connected to the very monster who had haunted her family. Her phone buzzed again, another message. You were perfect bait. Claire's hands shook. She felt sick. She looked toward the window and froze. A black car idled outside. Watching. Part 8. Nick and Sharon's Discovery. Nick returned to Crimson Lights later that evening after talking with Chance. You were right, he told Sharon. Someone broke into the cafe last night. Chance found a set of fingerprints partials, but they don't match anyone in the system yet. Sharon's eyes widened. So I wasn't imagining it. No, Nick said grimly. And there's more, someone's been watching your house too. Security footage from the alley picked up a man in a hood around 2 a.m. Sharon's breath caught. Did you see his face? Nick shook his head. Not yet. But we're going to find out. Before she could respond, her phone rang. It was Victoria, panicked. Sharon, have you heard from Claire? She's not answering, and I think she's in trouble. Sharon's eyes darted to the candle on her desk, the one that had burned down to nothing but wax. I think we're all in trouble, she said softly. Part 9. The Web Titans. At Newman Enterprises, Victoria paced her office, trying to reach Claire again. Just then, Nate entered. Vic, I heard you were looking for your daughter. I might have seen her earlier. She was near the Grand Phoenix. The Grand Phoenix? Victoria repeated. Why would she? Her eyes widened. Holden. Victoria grabbed her purse and bolted. Meanwhile, at the Grand Phoenix, Chance was questioning staff about Holden's room, but when they checked, the suite was empty. No clothes. No bags. No trace of anyone having stayed there at all. Except one thing, a single photo on the nightstand. A photo of Claire sleeping. Part 10. The Halloween Curse. Later that night, Sharon drove home, the events of the past 24 hours swirling in her mind. As she pulled into her driveway, she saw something that made her blood run cold, a white rose pinned to her door. Her heart pounded. Cameron had once used white roses as his signature. Inside, she found another note waiting on the counter. Happy Halloween, Sharon. The past never stays buried. She sank to the floor, tears spilling down her cheeks. She didn't know how, but she knew Cameron was back. Part 11. The Cliffhanger. At that same moment, Claire sat in her darkened apartment, clutching her phone. The last message from the unknown number still glowed on the screen. Then a knock. She froze. Who's there? No answer. Another knock, louder this time. She grabbed a knife from the kitchen and approached the door slowly. Claire, a voice said. It's me. Sharon. Relief flooded her, but only for a second. She opened the door, and the color drained from her face. Because it wasn't Sharon standing there. It was Cameron Kirsten. Alive. Smiling. Hello, sweetheart, he said. You've caused quite the stir. Before she could scream, the door slammed shut. To be continued. As Halloween faded into the chill of November, Genoa City was left reeling. Sharon's sanity hung by a thread. Claire was trapped in the web of a man thought long dead, and the Newmans faced the chilling truth: the ghosts of their past weren't ghosts at all. This time, the danger wasn't just haunting them. It was alive, breathing, and walking the streets of Genoa City once again. Subscribe the channel to get such videos.